This is a Ventra Pro video showing adding a variable heater. We're going to do that. We're also going to set it up. So this would be if you have an add-on module inside your Ventra Pro for a 0 to 10 volt output, our analog output board. So that's an optional piece that can be added, and we have a separate video on adding that device and getting it set up. In this case, we've got it set as module 2 in this controller that provides a 0 to 10 volt out to a variable heater, whether that be a LB White smart valve heater or a brooder. So in this case, we'll go ahead and add the device, and when we add the device, we're actually going to add a channel. If we had a plus and minus through here to get the variable heater, we get to it. We're going to install the on-off, the enable for this device as one of our relay channels. So we're going to do that, but we'll also have to associate it with that analog output board. So variable heater is correct. We're going to make this heater number 1, zone number 1, set 1. Module will be 1, and we'll set it for channel, in this case I guess we'll just choose 30 as an open channel, wherever we wanted to designate it and wire that on off for it. Are you sure? Enter. Okay, so that's done. Now once it's added, we can actually go to the hotkey by number 30 and go straight to the heater group. We could also just do system setup and to the left until we find the right device in all our listing and we get to the same spot, and this would be the settings for this. So when it says gas regulator, it means the variable valve that needs to have that 0 to 10. We'll go ahead and set that to module 2 and channel number, how about 4? There's 12 different channels on these modules. We can use any of them. If we already use some for light dimmers or for other devices, variable frequency drive fans, we might be up to channel 4, but that add-on module is module 2. The next setting is use of sensors. We could choose to use only some of the sensors. Let's say you've got a north and a south or east and west heater that are going to be one would be number 1, one would be number 2. You could set up the individual sensors that it uses. In this case, we'll just choose all. If we wanted to edit that, you can always hit enter and get in here and actually assign the various ones. So we'll just, when we leave it at 0s, it stays at the default of all sensors. This is an option for a daily reduction in our target temperature for this heater. So if you want to run a certain on temperature during the day and a lower one at night, or whatever kind of adjustments you want to make, you can do that. When it's set to 0s, that's going to disable this function. It's not active to change from your settings, which will be down here below. Here we can set in minimum and maximum BTUs for the heater, which would be used for a rough approximation of what fuel usage is. We also have a target temperature, so this is kind of the key. With a variable heater, it's going to find its way to a variable setting on that heater so that it runs pretty much continuously most of the time, unless the temperature rises too much, and then it'll try to keep that temperature. So in this case, the 68.9 we're going to say is fine. That's 2 degrees below what our current set point is, and then we'll set this one to 69.9, just if we want like a 1 degree difference between on and off, and then it's going to use that band to turn it on and off the heater. The alarm when heater is at maximum for a certain amount of time. So if it has to run full for a certain period of time and that's going to trigger an alarm, we get to choose how long that period is, minutes or hours, to to whatever we want that to be, so we can set that here. Then we get back around to where we defined the module, which was module 2 and 4, so we're going through the same settings again. So that basically has it set up. The channel 30 we'd want to put into auto. If we want that channel not to run at all, we would, and now this will become active when it hits that on temperature, and then it's going to start running. It'll enable the variable and use the variable to save some money on gas. The toggle switch primarily is just an enable. So if we use it for an off or auto would be the primary use. Using it in the on position doesn't turn the heater necessarily on. So primarily you'd want to use it either in the off to make sure it stays completely off, or in auto and letting it run. So that gives you some ideas on how to add and then set up a variable heater.